Okay, so you probably tried it, right? Maybe keeping a gratitude journal, writing down 3 things each day. Or maybe just trying to say thank you more often. But maybe you still find yourself, I don't know, reacting pretty sharply sometimes. Or feeling stressed out, maybe just a bit emotionally disconnected. And you're left wondering, like, why doesn't this thing everyone recommends actually feel like it's working for me? Well, today we're going to dive into something really core here. The idea that gratitude isn't just, good manners or ticking a box. It's actually this huge spectrum. And frankly, a lot of us are kind of stuck paddling in the shallow end. So this deep dive is all about getting into what gratitude really is, how you spot the real deal in yourself and others, and why it's such a powerful tool for boosting your emotional intelligence, your EQ.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the mission today. We want to help you move past the surface stuff, beyond just ticking those boxes, because the real magic, the real power of gratitude isn't just saying the words. It's about actually genuinely feeling it. And that's where the big shifts happen in how you handle things, how your relationships work, and finding that real quiet sense of inner peace.
Okay, let's unpack this then,
Yeah.
because we all do the polite, thank you, right? Thanks for holding the door. Oh, thanks for that coffee. But that's just scratching the surface, isn't it? The real thing goes much, much deeper.
You've nailed the common misconception right there. Gratitude, really, at its heart, is a state of awareness, a kind of mental shift. It's moving from this default of, well, I deserve this or this should happen, to more of a quiet recognition, like, wow, I appreciate this. And it's not about, pretending everything's amazing, slapping on a fake smile. It's actually about seeing the value, even when things are difficult, recognizing what's there.
And I think that's where people get stuck. They treat it like a chore, another thing on the to-do list, like doing emotional sit-ups or something. You write down my dog, coffee, sunshine, check, 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 and then nothing really changes inside. It feels kind of hollow. Why do you think that happens so much? Is it just not understanding it properly?
Often, yeah, it's a misunderstanding. It feels hollow because it's not really engaging you emotionally deep down. Real gratitude.
Hmm.
It taps into something much deeper. It might feel like quiet contentment, or sure, sometimes joy, but it can also be bittersweet sometimes. It's that feeling of genuine connection, right?
Hmm.
To something or someone. And that connection, even if it's brief, it actually shifts how you see things for a moment. And when you get that, it stops being this like empty exercise and becomes a really powerful emotional tool because it demands you actually be present.
So it's not like an on-off switch then. It's not just grateful or not grateful. You're saying it's more like a
A
spectrum.
level. Exactly. A spectrum is a great way to think about it. Let's maybe break it down into, say, 3 levels, just to get a handle on it. So first, you've got the shallow end. This is that mechanical thanks. Maybe listing things because someone told you to, but your heart's not really in it. There's no real feeling there. It's a start, sure, but it's barely dipping your toes in. Then you move into the middle ground. This is where you start actually noticing good things, like as they happen. You might feel a little pause inside, maybe a real smile forms, or just this quiet sense that, this actually matters.
Like maybe noticing when a colleague really helped you out, or that first sip of coffee in the morning, really tasting it instead of just gulping it down.
Yes, exactly like that. That moment with the coffee, where maybe the morning's been chaos, but that one sip just feels
Right.
complete. That's the presence we're talking about. And this middle ground is so important because that's where you build that awareness, that presence. And that's totally fundamental for EQ. And then you get to the deep end. This is where it gets really layered. You start feeling grateful, not just for the easy, happy stuff,
Yeah.
but also for the hard things, the challenges, maybe even losses, the delays that looking back taught you something important. You see the value in the growth itself, even if the path was rough. This level, it's incredibly clarifying. Doesn't always feel comfortable, mind you, but it's clarifying. And there's a clear link here. The deeper you go on the spectrum, the more emotionally intelligent you tend to become. You move from just reacting to life, to
Yeah.
reflecting, to integrating, not just noticing things, but really letting them sink in and change you.
Okay, that spectrum idea makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you know? How can you tell if what you're feeling, or maybe what you see in someone else, is that real deal gratitude and not just,
Well, in yourself, genuine gratitude. It feels different. It's kind of grounding. It often slows your mind down just for a beat. You might feel a sense of calm wash over you, or maybe a warmth, or even humility. It's usually quiet, not loud, but it leaves an impression.
a shift in perspective?
Exactly, a real shift. You stop focusing so much on what's missing, what's wrong, and you truly see what is there. And that seeing has weight. It sticks. So maybe ask yourself, Do I feel connected to this thing I'm saying I'm grateful for? Or did that moment make me feel a bit softer, more open, more here? If not, maybe it was just ticking the box.
And what about seeing it in other people?
With others, watch their actions, not just their words. Are they really present when they talk to you? Do they seem to notice effort, not just results? Do they avoid taking things or people for granted? You'll see it in small things, thoughtful gestures, how they listen. And interestingly, watch how they handle stress. Someone operating from that deeper gratitude often has more resilience. They're less likely to just fly off the handle. They can kind of zoom out, find perspective, even when things are tough.
Yeah, that makes sense. It really shows that the real stuff is often quiet, consistent,
Yeah.
not necessarily shouting hashtag a less from the rooftops. Okay, so we've talked about what it is, the spectrum, but let's connect the dots. How does this deeper kind of gratitude actually make us more emotionally intelligent? What's the mechanism there? It feels like more than just a mood booster.
Oh, absolutely. It's fundamental. Think about EQ, emotional intelligence, as, your ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotions, both yours and others. Gratitude is like a key tool in that whole process because what it does essentially is shift your whole emotional lens. It moves you away from just reacting on autopilot towards genuine awareness.
How so?
Okay, first, self-awareness. You literally cannot feel truly grateful and entitled at the exact same moment. They're kind of incompatible. So
Yeah.
practicing real gratitude forces you to notice your own emotional habits, your defaults. How do you react when things go well or badly? That noticing is step one for EQ. Second, empathy. When you're genuinely appreciating things, especially things others have done, you start seeing their effort, their contribution, not just the outcome. That naturally makes you more attuned to their experience, less wrapped up in your own stuff, more empathetic, which is huge for connecting with people.
Mhm.
Third, emotional regulation. We all get hit by stress, anger, frustration. It happens. But gratitude acts like a counterweight. It grounds you. It gives you access, even for a moment, to a different emotional state. That pause can stop you from overreacting and helps you bounce back faster when you do get upset.
Okay.
And fourth, relational intelligence,
Mm.
just your ability to build good, strong relationships. People who genuinely express sincere gratitude, they're just easier to be around, easier to connect with. Why? Because they make others feel seen, appreciated, safe even. And that builds trust like nothing else, which obviously helps communication. So yeah, gratitude doesn't replace EQ, but it deepens it profoundly, adds texture, perspective. And in today's world, that makes you not just like nicer, but actually more effective, more resilient.
Yeah, I think many of us know that feeling, though. You try the gratitude journal, write down dog, coffee, sunshine, day after day, and it just feels flat. Like you said, ticking a box. Why does it feel so hollow sometimes?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it comes back to engagement, real engagement. If you want to cultivate gratitude that actually changes things for you, you need to go deeper than the list. So here are a few things to maybe try to move past that superficial feeling. First, and this is maybe counterintuitive, go for depth, not just volume. Instead of listing 10 quick things, pick one. One thing that genuinely moved you or felt significant today. And sit with it for a minute. Ask yourself, like, why did this matter? How would things be different without it? What does this actually reveal about what I value? Research shows this deeper processing actually engages your brain differently.
Interesting. So one deep dive instead of 10 shallow ones.
Exactly. Second, make it specific and personal. Grateful for my friend is okay, but grateful Sarah called just to check in when she knew I was having a rough day. See the difference?
Yeah, much more concrete.
The detail connects you emotionally. Third, let it be relational. Gratitude wants to be expressed, Don't just think it, say it, or text it, or show it. And this is important too. When someone thanks you, try to actually receive it, let it land. Don't just brush it off immediately. That builds connection too.
That's a hard one sometimes.
It is. Fourth, reframe, don't deny. We talked about finding gratitude even in tough spots. That's not toxic positivity. It's not pretending the hard stuff isn't hard. It's about broadening your perspective. You can absolutely be frustrated and grateful simultaneously. Grateful the delay gave you thinking time. Grateful the tough conversation cleared the air. That's emotional agility right there.
Okay.
And fifth, maybe the simplest but hardest, build a pause into your day. Seriously. Most of us don't feel grateful because we're just rushing. We don't even notice. Just one intentional pause. A walk around the block, 3 deep breaths, a moment looking out the window. It can completely reset your outlook. Give gratitude a chance to actually surface.
It really sounds like gratitude, the real stuff, isn't just some wellness trend or a hashtag for social media. It's not just a nice to have. It sounds like a fundamental psychological tool. And like you said, it won't make life perfect, won't erase the struggles.
No, it won't. But what it will do is change how you process those struggles, how you navigate them. And that really is what emotional intelligence is all about. It's not about not feeling things. It's about understanding your emotions and using them effectively, navigating life with, well, more clarity, more empathy, and definitely more resilience.
So if your gratitude practice has felt a bit empty, or maybe you dismissed it as too simple, maybe it's worth reconsidering its actual power. It sounds like it can be genuinely transformative, but only when it's real, when it moves from just a thought in your head to an actual feeling, making you more emotionally intelligent, one honest moment of appreciation at a time. So here's something to think about. What's maybe one specific thing today, just one, that you could genuinely pause to appreciate? Really let it land. Move it from your head down into your heart.